Hello and welcome back to Absolute BSS, the Casualpetitive look at Bandai Namco's Battle Spirits Saga card game. I'm back, Cameron here, and as always, I am with...
Oh, Eric, that's me. Yeah. Hey.
So thank you. Big thanks to Angel for coming on the last episode and hanging out with Eric. Thank you to Eric for putting that together and recording that and getting that all good to go. I was really bummed that I didn't get to talk with you and Angel, but it was really fun as a fan of this game and as a fan of both of you to listen to your episode.
Yeah, honestly, it was pretty fun. Not that I definitely missed having you there, but I got to flex some muscles that I don't really get to use too often.
Yeah.
Like I had to figure out how to like adjust the levels and like record the show and set everything up. So, but it was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was a really fun episode. I liked just stepping away from spoiler season, we're trying to put out some more content and do some fun stuff that's different. And we're still figuring out this whole podcasting thing, but it was really, really fun to have some information about how the grand opens have been run. And, from a player's standpoint, looking at Purple and just talking about some of those edge cases in this game and some deck crafting theory and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. It was a really cool episode. So if you haven't yet listened to, what was that, episode 9? Go check out episode 9.
Yeah. Yeah, Angel had some crazy stories for sure.
Yeah, I was cracking up. Yeah, we don't have to get into it, but yeah, it was really cool. So yeah, let us know if you enjoyed Angel's perspective here. It'd be really nice to have all three of us talking about stuff, but it's also very nice to know that if one of us has to step away, we have our buddy to rotate in. But what are we? What have you been up to lately, Eric? Let's like we don't talk to each other every day. What have you been up to?
Well, you know what I've been doing, but I'll fill the audience in. So a while ago, I bought this thing called a Retro Tink. It is it's essentially like this adapter that allows you to play retro consoles on an HDMI, like a TV with HDMI ports. So you can scale up a lot of your retro consoles. I mean, obviously, like it's not going to change the graphics, but it can just like set everything so that on an HD TV, it looks better.
Yeah.
And so I hate to say it, but my PS2 is now considered retro. So
Oh, I know. That hurts so bad.
I know. I remember when I got the thing, but also my memory of getting it was like I think I got really good grades in like elementary school. So but yeah, I've had that for a minute and I've been looking for some classic games that I've been wanting to play. And recently, us having talked to, becoming closer friends with Angel and talking to him a lot, him and I have talked a lot about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, man, those old Yu-Gi-Oh! Games on the PS2 were so fun. I really want to play those. And I was at a used video game store recently, and they had a copy of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses for like $20. And I picked it up, and I've just been playing it every night. It's so fun.
Yeah, that was such a classic. I love... man, the PlayStation 2 had a lot of really good card-based RPG games. Like the Duel Masters games were on there. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Games, of course. But like what's cool about the Yu-Gi-Oh! Games, which you picked up, like, so Duelist of the Roses has, that's more of a stricter Yu-Gi-Oh! Simulator-ish.
Yeah.
But they also had some really good spin-off games. Like there was a RTS mixed with turn-based combat game in that era. And then the Capsule Monsters game too, which is like a little grid style, just completely different way to play Yu-Gi-Oh!
So I never played the Capsule Monsters game, but they had a copy of that there as well for $12. So I went ahead and picked that one up too. So.
I can't wait for you to play that. I thought it was just such a unique spin on those characters, and I think that was like really one of the first like spin-off games in that kind of style that I played. Like, Pokemon has made some spin-off games over the years. Like Pokemon Conquest comes to mind. I really loved that one. Just another weird way to spin off with these characters and stuff like that. But like the Pokemon card games were also very good. But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! On PS2 has just bangers after bangers. So that's really cool that you picked those up.
Yeah, I've been playing it nonstop. I will say it definitely, just as a like turn-based, like card-based board game kind of thing, like it definitely holds up. It's still really fun.
Yeah.
And of course you have all the classic characters that you love, like Dark Magician, Blue-Eyed White Dragon, Summoned Skull.
Yeah.
It's been a blast revisiting that. So
That's awesome.
really enjoying it. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, what have you been up to, Cam? What has been keeping you busy these days?
So I'm recently starting to try to get into Gundam. I've been looking at, apparently it's all on the Hulu subscription that I have. So I picked my favorite Gundam card that's been revealed so far from the Battle Spirit set coming up, which is Unicorn Gundam. And I started to watch that show, and I'm like 3 episodes in, and I'm super hooked. It's like got that political drama, but it's sci-fi as well. And then, you know, it's got freaking Mobile Suit Gundam, and it's just really, really neat so far. I grew up watching like the Pokemon anime, Yu-Gi-Oh anime, stuff like that, but I haven't been full into anime. And so Cowboy Bebop was really exciting for me to go back and watch for the first time a couple of years ago. And so now I'm starting to get back into that world. So I figured Gundam was a really cool place to get my toes wet because of the collab coming up in this next set. And then I've also been grinding so many online games of Keyforge because the new set dropped earlier this year. The game was completely revived by one of its original team members that like worked on it. And nationals are coming up, and I was actually invited to Worlds before Keyforge was quote unquote killed. So with the new organized play, like I have to earn my way back in. So
oh man,
but I'm excited too, because the deck that I'm going to take that I've decided on taking in August at Gen Con. Gen Con is where nationals are. The deck that I'm going to take came out during the Keyforge hiatus. So the 4th set, for those of you who don't know, Keyforge was published by Fantasy Flight Games for 5 sets. 2 of those sets one set came out during quarantine, and the second one kind of rolled out later than it meant to. And then there was, malware, hack, basically the whole algorithm that makes Keyforge, a unique deck game, was crashed, stolen, lost, whatever you want to believe. And
did we ever get any clarity on that?
No.
Like what happened?
No.
Okay.
I just think they keep calling it malware. They keep using the word lost. It was lost.
Okay.
There's a lot of rumors circulating that, but basically the game is back on track. The game is back. It's alive. The 6th set just launched under new ownership of Ghost Galaxy Games, and that means organized play is coming back. So we're getting the regional kind of tournaments called Vault Tours popping up. There are like 4 or 5 in the US, and then maybe even more than that, and then a couple international. So that's one way you can win an invite to Worlds at the end of this year. And then that final way is at nationals at Gen Con. So I am bringing a deck that I have played over 200 games with.
Oh my gosh.
Because you don't construct a deck in Keyforge. If that's still not clear, like Keyforge, you open a deck, it is 36 cards. You cannot change those cards. That is your deck. So you have to learn your deck, and no one else will have the same list as you. So that's what really excites me about Keyforge. And so I've been playing this deck into the ground. And with I think last time I checked on the Crucible, which is an online way of playing Keyforge, created by fans. Let me just pull it up, actually. My deck, 215 games logged in the competitive queue on this online thing.
Wow.
149 wins, 66 losses. That's a 0.30% win rate. And so I don't think it's going to get any better than that. Like, I don't think there's another deck that I know that well, and I know its weaknesses and I know its strength, more than this deck, my deck, Smithson of Cudshaw Stadium. And so I'm really,
name
really
dropping.
excited.
You're dropping the name. People are gonna.
I'm dropping the name. Look it up.
People are gonna look up the tech.
But I'm probably playing against people I'm going to play against at Gen Con with this deck right now in playtesting. And I feel confident that I can go at least 4-2. That's not enough to make the day 2 cut, but I think I can land 4-2. And then just depending on the matchup, I might seriously have a shot at, taking it all the way. I really think so. So that's what I've been doing. I've been playing a lot of games of Keyforge Online, and my goal was to get to 300 before August, but I only have a few days left for that, and I don't think I'm going to be able to play 85 games in that point. But
yeah,
sitting at almost a 70% win rate is ludicrous in the game of Keyforge.
Yeah, I think in just about any card game, a 70% win rate is like a little unheard of. So that's pretty good. Yeah.
So luckily, I haven't had too much of that, what deck do I bring drama, because I know this one so well, and I'm really excited to see a deck from the 4th set, Mass Mutation, see how it performs in Vault Tours and at Nationals, because we're just now finally starting to get information about how sets 4, 5, and 6 look in organized play, because we didn't have it for so long, what with the pandemic and the hiatus. So I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm having a lot of fun with that, and I'm just really excited to get to play some Battle Spirits and Keyforge at Gen Con. So if you're coming out to either of those, come say hi. And also, that's a great segue, up on the screen right now, and if you're not watching the video, either go over to the video or go to our Twitter pages. Eric made really cool double-sided token cards for Battle Spirit Saga, and they have a little bit of Absolute BSS branding on them, a little QR code, little @ symbols in our email. But we're gonna be handing these out. We've got a bunch of them. We're gonna be handing them out at the Battle Spirits events that we're playing at. If any of you who are listening are there at Gen Con and run into us, come up and ask for them. We'll gladly give them out. They look really cool. They're double-sided. So one side has the Ant-Man token and one side has a Mecha token. And they've got all the information that you would need on them. And they look really, really great, Eric. I love them.
Thank you. Yeah, these were a lot of fun to make. So part of the reason I made these, one, I really wanted tokens to play with the new set, and I haven't seen the official tokens yet. I'm assuming they come in the booster packs. I think they're probably going to be in like the core slot that we had from the first pack.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know what those tokens look like, so I really want to just like have something custom that I know that I like. So I started making these kind of just for myself, really.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? These would be really cool to just give out like free. My idea here was like business cards for our podcast that also have like a utility to them.
Yeah.
So it's essentially a business card for our podcast, but you can use it when you play Battle Spirits. So it's kind of fun.
So instead of just us handing you a piece of paper that you're going to throw away, maybe you hold on to it a little bit longer.
Yeah. Maybe you don't even like, I'm going to give my plan right now is if I sit across, I'm going to Gen Con and so's Cam. And if I sit across from you at the table, I'm going to start the game off by handing you some of these tokens for free if you want them. Yeah. So you may not even, you may be listening to this after I've handed you one of these cards and you've scanned the little QR code.
Oh, that's true.
So.
Wow. But, yeah. If you're listening from Gen Con in the future, which is your present right now, hearing my voice.
Oh, no, we're going to have some weird time paradox.
Yeah. Tell us. Send us an email. AbsoluteBSSpod@gmail.com.
Yeah. But yeah, I hope that everybody who gets these enjoys them. As of right now, I don't think I'm going to sell these just because I just kind of want to make them like a fun thing that you can get if you happen to find one of us in the wild.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, you can come up to us and just ask for these too. I think both of us are going to be wearing our Absolute BSS shirts. So
yep.
If you see like Absolute Ice Shield art on the back of a shirt, or like a dude in a shirt that says Absolute BSS on the front. I'm assuming it's one of us because I don't think anybody else should have that shirt.
That would be so funny if someone did, though. They're like,
If
no
they
affiliation. I just saw it and thought it looked cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that way you can be in on the bit and in with the cool Absolute BSS crowd.
Yeah. Which, by the way, since we're
Let's just do
transitioning.
it.
Yeah. Do you want to tell them about the other way they can become even closer to the rest of the Absolute BSS family, which right now is just me, you, and Angel?
Yep. Well, and our faithful listeners and viewers on YouTube and all that good stuff. But yes, we're gonna roll out our Absolute BSS Discord server. It's free to join, obviously. Just don't be a douche and come hang out. Like we're gonna have a Champer Chump channel. We're gonna have a channel for all your deck crafting and stuff like that. You can join some voice channels, get some games together. We may eventually, if it gets popular enough, open up the podcast recording to like, you can hear us record it live. You can schedule games with us. Like it's just be really fun to, there already is a Battle Spirits Saga Discord. But that's kind of bigger, like if you want a little bit of a smaller pond, like if Discord is intimidating, I think this is a really cool place to start. And we'd love to keep the conversation going and have you come on over and you can show off your token cards in the wild.
As far as reasons why you should join our Discord, I definitely want it to be a small little community. I want to focus on our like casualpetitive vibe where it should be a place to share fun, like kind of wonky ideas about the game and have just like silly little discussions. Like I created a channel called Dr. Duck's Office. And what I'm trying to do in there is just the only thing you're allowed to share is you can quack like a duck. Oh my gosh, there's so many sirens outside. I apologize. Yeah. The only thing you can do in that channel is quack like a duck or share duck related GIFs. So that's Dr. Duck's Office. And then of course Champer Chump, where we can rate things as Champ or Chump.
Yeah, so, I would really love to have a Discord channel with y'all, anybody who wants to come in and just talk about this game. And maybe eventually we could host some like online TTS tournaments and ship out some token cards to the winners or whatever. So
that'd be so fun.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Fun. So there are a couple ways for you to get these really cool exclusive Absolute BSS tokens. And that's either by joining the Discord and winning them or coming and saying hi to us at Gen Con. And for those of you international listeners, we'll try to figure something out because we do have a couple people out of the country that are listening to us.
Really?
I can see that on Spotify. Cool. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
So if you're listening from out of the country, first of all, thank you. And second of all, let us know where. I mean, we can kind of see where in Spotify, but basically I'm just saying thank you. This has been fun.
Yeah, super cool. Yeah, I would love to get to a point where even if it's just a couple people that join us, like if we're recording live, people could like ask questions live. I think that would be fun.
That would be really cool.
But yeah, as far as the tokens go, for right now, the only way to get them will just be to find us at Gen Con. But yeah, we'll explore other ways to hand them out, get them in the hands of people. I hope that they're just like a fun little thing to represent the podcast and just be like a cool little thing that you can use in your actual games of BSS.
Yeah, so. They're standard poker card sizes. They're double-sided, so you can have whatever side showing you want in the sleeve, depending on the deck you have, but there's no need to hold a bunch of them. So we'll just, if you want a few, we'll give you a few. We got plenty. And I think I'm so pumped to use these in my green decks with these little Ant-Man tokens. So it's awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I almost am like, man, I should bring a deck that uses tokens to Gen Con just so that I'm using these. Well, I guess you already
will be at least. So
yeah, you're planning on it. That's fun.
Yeah, I if I can get the green and purple support, that'll be good. I found a store in Indianapolis that says they're gonna get plenty of product. I called like 4 stores, and the first 3 were like, we don't even carry that, and the 4th one's like, oh yeah, we got plenty of first set promo or product. We'll have second set for you on your way up from Tennessee. So I'm like, hell yeah.
Nice.
So I'm hoping to get some good green.
Yeah. Okay, sweet. Well, hopefully you'll be able to play the deck that you want to play, and then you can play the ant tokens.
That's right.
As far as the Discord, I guess we'll just put the link to it in the show notes and the description on YouTube.
Yeah,
and
I'll
feel
put
free
the,
to come
the
join.
invite link there, and yeah, just click it, come on in, say hi, and that way we also know that you've been listening to the podcast. So that's super dope.
You can't hide from us anymore,
Can't
you little
hide from
fuckers.
us. Yeah, fuck you. We're just gonna nag you all until you love us.
Yeah, no one's gonna join the Discord now.
Yeah, but yeah, that's our housekeeping. That's what we've been up to. That's some exciting stuff behind the scenes here at the podcast. Like, we just appreciate it. We're on episode 10 now, double digits, and that's kind of a big deal. So we're here to stay. We're still enjoying it. We're still enjoying the game. So that's fun. Plus, there will probably be some Shadowverse talk in the Absolute BSS Discord too. I'll be talking about Keyforge. If anybody listening right now plays Keyforge or is even a little bit interested, please contact me. I will send you decks to get you started. I swear. I want people to play this game. It's coming back.
I was about to say, Cam will probably mail you a bunch of Keyforge decks.
I will. Anywhere in the world. I don't care where you are. If you speak and read English, I can send you decks. I'm being serious. I want everyone to play this game. I love it so much. I can't do that with Absolute BS or with Battle Spirits, but I can do it with Keyforge.
Yeah.
But let's get back into absolutely BSS mode. So what are
the reason we're all here today?
Yeah, what are we doing today, Eric? What are we talking about?
So, all right, spoiler season's over. We've seen all the spoils. Everything's been spoiled. So I thought, well, actually, wait. Before we get into that, oh man, I'm so scattered. All right, the first thing. All right, I'll lay it all out for you, and then we can just dive in. So First things first. We got some info on set 4, so I think we should talk about that.
We did get some info on set 4. Let's go for it.
All right. So for set 4, we discovered a couple of things. One, they have, again, like with sets that are spoiled, I think I've mentioned this before. I've noticed in the past that they'll have some type of box art and then it'll change over time. So I don't know that this is set in stone, but for right now, they have Nova as like the main dude on the box. So it's a red box. So this set is going to be really interesting, I think, because it's going to be our first set where the gimmick of the set is not introducing a new color. So the game will have kind of be in a more mature state by then, where we're just kind of like, okay, we've introduced all the colors. Now it's time to flesh out what all of these colors do. And what they mentioned in this little blurb that we got to see about set 4, the first appearance of powerful spirits with double symbols. Nova and other past spirits from each color are back and stronger than ever. So, double symbols on cards, for those that aren't aware, means that they can reduce the cost of things twice as much, and they also deal twice as much damage to the opponent's life when they attack them.
Yes. So when this came through in the group text earlier between you, me, and Angel, it jogged my memory of that core thing. Like those little symbols in the bottom right are reduction, yes, but I always forget that also determines how much damage that creature does when attacking life. And I always forget that because it hasn't been a mechanic that some cards are different than each other yet. So like I wasn't even thinking about that. So yeah, double symbols are going to be really, really interesting. It's going to make more powerful cards come out quicker unless you deal with these little things. We were talking maybe, more symbols equals less power somehow. So we might be seeing some really dismal stat lines, but, faster decks. And then, just getting a little guy through with 2 symbols still does a lot of damage to life. So, it might balance out some of the Blessed if Blessed is powerful. It's going to be interesting.
I'm interested to see how they balance these, because you can't just take like a regularly balanced spirit and slap 2 symbols on it and call it good to go.
Right. That's called power creep.
Yeah. I mean, they could do that, but I would be a little upset by it. I wouldn't be so upset that I would stop playing, but I would just be like, come on, guys. Like, you can do more than that.
And if set 4 does mark the beginning of rotation, like if it takes away some set 1 cards or all of set 1, that's a little different. So, they did mention that they're bringing some old spirits back in a new way, which, they've done really, really well in other games like Digimon, obviously, because there's only a finite amount of Digimon. So getting a new version of that Digimon works. And so in this set, or in this game, and the way they would do that, I think, is you can have both cards exist because they're different numbered cards. And so that feels pretty neat. I think that's kind of cool. It'll be fun to see a new take on some of these old spirits and, some of our old favorites coming back, or some creatures that maybe just weren't tuned very well in the first 3 sets making an appearance in set 4. I think that's exciting. I think that's really neat to flush out the kind of universe that they're building here, or that they've built. I know this is an old game, but
I'm interested to see what exactly this means, because I know that we have that description, but to be honest, I still don't really understand what exactly that's going to look like.
Yeah.
Until I get to start seeing some of the cards. But I don't know. I'm pretty excited about it. I also wonder if, they didn't mention this, but they did say double symbols. So I wonder if maybe we get some multicolor cards.
Oh, yeah. Not necessarily not necessarily cards with say 2 yellow symbols, but maybe like a yellow and a green. Oh, see, yeah, that's gotta happen. I don't want to. I don't want to start rumors here, because they did not. Let's be clear, they did not suggest that at all. No,
but
they didn't not suggest it.
They did not say that. So
yeah, I think with a game like this, multicolor cards are inevitable. I don't know how early that's going to happen, but I am very excited. That's just a really cool way to shake up a meta, is help that dual color stuff kind of come in. And that way, that would kind of balance itself out, because you couldn't use the same one card to reduce the cost of something unless their reduction costs are also multicolored, and that could be interesting as well. The only time we've really seen a card listing kind of reference multiple colors is that one dragon.
The Jewel Dragon.
Jewel Dragon
Smag, or Smog.
Yes, that's right. Let me pull him up real quick. So Jewel Dragon Smag is a 4-cost Ruin Dragon with no reduction symbols. So that's interesting. But you treat this spirit's color and symbol color as purple, white, yellow, green, and blue, as well as red, at level 1, 2, and 3. So more of that kind of wording and that kind of style could absolutely be on the way. And I think that's really, really neat.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. On one hand, I'm excited about it. On the other hand, I'm like, Eric, don't even think about that stuff. We don't even have set 2 in our hands
yet.
Yeah,
that's super fair. And I get like that too. Oh my gosh, I woke up to that this morning, and you're like, set 4 info, and I'm like, we don't even have any images of set 3. What's going on?
Yeah.
I was like, no, I've barely played set 1.
Yeah. I also don't know where that came from. I just pulled it from the Discord.
Sure.
So to be fully transparent, I have no idea if that's even legit. What I saw looked very real, so I don't think someone made it up though. So
yeah.
But I didn't, just for full transparency, I didn't do any investigation into it other than saved the pictures into my phone and immediately sent them to Cam and Angel because I was freaking out.
Yeah. Which is always fun.
Yeah. But set 4's coming. We know a little bit about it. I think it's kind of cool that they are showing that the game is gonna, obviously they're planning far into the future for this game.
Yeah.
Which makes me excited, because you and I have been burned so many times by TCGs or just games in general that we love, and all of the sudden, this happened with Netrunner, and it was terrible. All of a sudden we just quit getting news, we quit getting leaks or info, and then we all kind of knew it was coming, and then it was yep, the game's over.
Yeah.
And
you know what all of that traces back to? Fantasy Flight Games.
Oh.
Well, yeah, and that's one of them. Keyforge also was dropped. The ball was dropped. Star Wars Destiny was
Yep.
a fantastic, incredible game. A lot of LCGs that I put a lot of time into. Definitely got killed,
Yeah.
like Legends of the Five Rings. The only thing that they really did really, really well was the Arkham Horror card game. And even then, that had some rough times there, but it came out on the other side. So I guess 1 out of 10 is decent in this industry. But
Well,
man,
it's good to see with Battle Spirits though that they like if they're already showing us like images, like product images for set 4, like they've got stuff planned out for a while.
for sure.
And I think it makes it a little easier because they can pull a lot of the art and card designs from the Japanese game.
Yeah, exactly.
So, anyways,
Yeah.
that's it. Anything else you want to talk about set 4?
No, not yet at all, because there's still a whole color that we haven't seen anything for in set 3.
Yeah.
And yeah, set 2 is literally 10 days away from the time of this recording. So oh my gosh, I'm going to be opening set 2 cards in a week and a half. I might have to do a really jank mobile stream opening from Indiana if I can get those cards on the way up.
Yeah,
Man.
I think unfortunately both of us are going to be so busy. Like I was thinking about that. I was like, it might be a minute before I have the chance to open these if I want to film it.
Yeah.
So I may just have to open it all in a hurry and see what cards I got because I need to build my deck really fast.
Yep. I'm going to have a couple of days to, if I have to pivot, but yeah, we're going to be coming in right under the wire, which
I'm really glad that we have the TTS mod to train in because I have no idea. I have no idea how I would prepare for Gen Con. I would be unprepared is what would be happening.
Yeah. And just being able to have played so much already, I feel like, if I do open some really cool cards, I'm at least going to know how they work. And I can hopefully throw something fun together. And if not, I've got some good set 1 decks to fall back on. And I'm so excited to play in a competitive event again, especially, at Gen Con. Like, that's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
You meet all these people that play the same shit that you do, and it's just such a good time. So, keep an eye
so
peeled
excited
for some opening streams. Hopefully we can.
Yeah. I do have some other boxes coming later that I'll probably get after Gen Con.
Yeah.
I bought a lot of boxes of this set because I want the Gundam cards.
Gotta get those Gundam, man.
So, you know what? Even if I already have most of the cards I need, it'll still be a fun box opening because we'll be Gundam hunting.
Yeah.
So, that'll be fun.
So exciting.
Definitely some content to come for box openings, but unfortunately it's probably going to be after the set is already out and like we've been playing with it for a minute. But, it'll still be fun.
Absolutely.
Speaking of set 2, now that we're kind of back on track with the set, spoiler season's over. This is what I was starting to say earlier, and then I remembered that we had the set 4 leaks. Spoiler season's over. Everything's been spoiled. We've talked about pretty much everything. There's some spoilers that we just kind of weren't able to keep up with, but we talked about mostly everything on the podcast other than like some white and some purple. Mm-hmm. But you and I have, even if we haven't recorded it, we have talked about pretty much everything that's been spoiled and played with a lot of it.
We have.
And so I thought it'd be fun to just go back and forth and talk about our top 3 cards or archetypes or just strategies that we've developed with the set 2 cards. And just like, it doesn't even have to be like, casual competitive. So like, whatever we think is the most fun, or if we think something is like really, really good, then we can talk about it. So that's what I thought we'd do next.
I gotta tell you, man, if you don't mind, I'm gonna take the lead on this one.
All right.
I gotta.
Are these in any? Is this in a particular order? Like, is this your number 1 thing, or is it like?
No, it's hard for me. So my picks are like, I have one that I'm obsessed with, one that I want to try, and then one that I don't know really anything about, but I'd like to get some discussion about them. So
okay. So the first one's your obsession. It sounds
my
like.
Obsession is just green. It is green, ramp, and exhaust. So if you're watching the video, this is my ideal right now, green and purple deck that I want to build and I want to play. It is ant heavy. So I just think that cards like Worker Ant-Man and Emmer Ant-Man are so good.
Yeah,
and I don't
absolutely.
know what to do about them if I'm playing against them, because I just think they're so good. There's so much utility in green in these little cards that can splash into other colors and do really good things. There are textless cards. There are cards that get up to 4K if you're looking for that. And then the other part of that green is the exhaust mechanic. And so we've gone back and forth a little bit with two in particular. And so I'm going to focus on this guy right here. Emerald Pincer over the bird. There's a bird that does similar things to Emerald Pincer, but Emerald Pincer, I've decided, is better for me. And there's a few reasons why. One, Emerald Pincer is a 4-cost green spirit, can be reduced by 2. It has the insectoid trait, which is referenced on a lot of green stuff. And its stat lines are really good. It gets you out of Burning Force range, and it gets you into that 4K range, which the Blade Beasts really like, and, you know, a lot of spells don't like. So at level 1 and level 2, when summoned, you select one of your opponent's spirits and exhaust it. At level 1, it's got 3K. At level 2, for 2 cores, it's got 4K. There's nothing about this card that I dislike. And I run 4 copies of it every game that we've played where I've put green in my deck, because green can go wide, green can control, green can do mid-range, green can do aggro. Green can even make it to an end game. And anytime you're drawing Emerald Pincer, it's useful. And it has won games for me because you just drop it in for cheap. And with the big, with Armor Tree Deity Herrick Dynus, you can give it Swift and drop it in, and you can just win a game. Like, I can't get over Emerald Pincer enough. Like, everyone is going to be talking about Emmer Ant-Man, for sure, and we do, and Worker Ant-Man. But do not sleep on Emerald Pincer. I think it is a champ. And again, it's still cheap enough that you can splash this into other colors and get a free exhaust out of nowhere that no one's going to see coming in other colors. And I just think it's a good card. That's it.
Yeah, you and I have had this discussion, I think, outside of the podcast, maybe in one of our gameplay videos, I don't know. But I was originally fully on Team Aldeed.
Yep.
The Emerald Greatbird Aldeed. 5-cost, 3 reduction, and then it also has the same when summoned, and it has pretty decent stat lines, but it has this other ability where at level 2 you can place a core from the void into your reserve when it attacks.
Good
and
ramp.
So yeah, I was like, I think this card is just straight up better than Emerald Pincer because it's like 5-cost, 3 reduction, could potentially be like the same cost. But what I've learned from playing with the two of them is I have gravitated more towards Emerald Pincer. And the reason for that is the fact that you can, in more situations, just drop it really quick to get, that exhaust that you need to get in.
Yep.
I think objectively Aldeed is like a better card, but I think that Emerald Pincer, just for whatever reason, due to the costing on it, the way that it just the costing on it just makes it a little bit easier to play. I think it's a really good card. And just green in general, really quick, I want to mention this. I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but I think I've definitely at least said it to you. In just about every deck I build, even if it isn't a green deck, I've been thinking about or just including Emmer Ant-Man and Worker Ant-Man in the deck.
Because the ramp is so good. They're cheap, and the ramp is just immaculate. Again, for those listening, if you don't have it pulled up, or if you're not watching the video, Emmer Ant-Man, 2 cost, reduced by 1, Carapace Green Spirit, level 1, 1 core, 1,000. Level 2, 3 cores, 3,000. But the ability is, when destroyed by opponent, place a core from the void into your reserve. So that's a ramp for any color. It's 2 cost.
Yeah.
It's 2 cost.
2 cost, like, you don't even care about the reduction.
Yeah.
You just, if I draw this first turn, excellent. That's
Yep.
exactly what I want to see. I don't care what my deck is trying to do. Drawing this first turn it's a good card to draw first turn.
Yes.
Maybe there's some situation where like you have a very like tribal specific deck that you wouldn't want to see this, but I think in most decks you're totally fine just getting this little blocker ready to go.
Yeah. And then Worker Ant-Man is a 3-cost green spirit, can be reduced by 2. It's a Carapace. At level 1 for 1 core, it has 2k. At level 2 for 2 cores, it goes up to 4k, and it gains at level 2 when this spirit attacks. Place a core from the void into your reserve if this spirit has a soul core on it. So that is a fantastic turn 1 drop. Or if you're going second, it's an even better turn 1 drop.
If you're going second, this is like having this in your hand makes your hand like a god hand.
Yes, because you're getting ramp, you're maybe taking a life away. 4k is going to cover a lot of little guys, and if your opponent starts with a Nexus, like you've seen in probably, like if you haven't watched our gameplay videos, we've been playing a lot of green, me especially. But like Eric said, he's slotting Emmer Ant-Man and Worker Ant-Man into a lot of different decks just because cheap ramp is hard to find in set 1, and these guys just make it look easy, and they make it look so good, and they are common rarity cards. Well, okay, Emmer Ant-Man is uncommon, but Worker Ant-Man and Emerald Pincer are both common rarity cards. So good.
Worker Ant-Man, I think one thing that the way that I try to think about this card, if I'm playing it outside of green, I just think of it as a 3-cost magic card that says ramp. Like get a core, and then maybe I get to do it for free every turn after that until my opponent does something about it.
Yeah. I just remember when we were going over the starter deck cards, I was so hyped on the starter deck magic card, multiple cores.
I was so hyped on Groon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Groon, which is Emmer Ant-Man all grown up, basically. And now I don't run Groon. I don't even look at Groon.
No. Emmer Ant-Man just blows them away.
It does. And multiple cores is a 2-cost reduced by 1 magic green. It can burst when opponent resolves the spirits when summon effect. You can select one of your opponent's spirits, exhaust it, and then pay the cost to do the main effect, which is select one of your spirits, place a core from the void onto it. The problem with that is it's not a creature, you know? So
yeah, you don't get the body, you don't get the added utility of a blocker or just like the pressure.
Though it's cheap, it still doesn't do what I want it to do. And Emmer Ant-Man does. For the same cost, you get a body and you give your opponent a decision. And I think that's just incredibly useful and good. So yeah, that's my first one, is Emerald Pincer. The ants, it embodies everything for me with how I play green, or how I'm gonna play green, what I want to play green. Yeah, and I love that card. I'm running 4 copies of that son of a bitch.
So my first up thing I want to talk about, I'm glad that you picked that, because I didn't put that on my list of things I was excited about, but honestly really deserves to be up there. But my big one that I want to start with, let's stay in green. I think you might know what I'm going to pick, which is the Brandbor combo with what is that card called? Lightning Aura?
Yes.
Yeah.
So once again, watch our gameplay videos, because we did get a perfect execution of this combo on video. But yeah, go ahead and explain it for us. I'm going to pull up the cards.
Yeah, so I guess I'll talk about Brandbor first, because he's kind of like the main part of the combo here. So he's a 6-cost 2 reduction Blade Beast Spirit. He comes in the starter deck. We don't know what quantity he comes in there, but he's in there. At level 1, he's 1 core for 5k, and level 2, he's 4 cores for 9k. And at both levels, when one of your spirits is summoned, the spirit gains 2,000 BP during this turn. That ability is sometimes relevant, sometimes, most of the time not. That's just like if you're playing Swift.
Yeah.
Anyways, the reason you're playing this card is it's level 2 for 4 cores and at 9k BP. When it attacks or blocks, so both times, refresh this spirit when it destroys one of your opponent's spirits via comparing BP. So this card's really good on its own because it kind of forces your opponent to think like, if I block, I can't just chump block this because then it just refreshes and it's going to attack me again. So I've either got to let the damage through or figure out a way to get over the 9k BP and kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Or like return it to hand, whatever.
Right.
Where Brandbor gets around that strategy is Lightning Aura. This is a new red magic, 3-cost, 2 reduction red magic. If you're playing Brandbor, you might just be playing it in green out of color and you just pay 3 for it, but you don't mind doing that because what it does is select one of your spirits, it gains Confront during this turn. So for the whole turn, you can give Brandbor Confront, which means that your opponent must block it. And then it has a flash ability. You can give a spirit 2k BP. Maybe you use that. Probably not. It's probably best to just hold this in your hand for the right moment. So essentially what the combo does is Brandbor says if he kills something during battle, he refreshes. And then what Lightning Aura says is that if your opponent can block Brandbor, they have to. So if they don't have anything with BP over 9k that can block Brandbor this turn, it's a board wipe. It just wipes the whole board.
Yep. He goes on a murder spree.
Yeah, and then he gets one additional damage into the life at the end.
And then, pair that with Airborne Crag, and he readies at the end of that battle step also. So he can block on your next turn. Like, it's crazy.
It's, the Airborne Crag is like icing on the cake. You don't need that, but it does make it really good.
Yeah, and if you get Airborne Crag and Brandbor before you get Lightning Aura, you're still doing, that trick, but in a smaller form. And it's just a really easy combo piece to set up. It really, really is. Especially with the way you play. Because you play Volcanic Canyon in a lot of these decks, too. So you're drawing multiple cards. You're facilitating that combo. You're getting to see those pieces a little faster.
Yes. And then, Volcanic Canyon also has the added benefit of making Lightning Aura 1 cheaper.
Yep. It's crazy.
Yeah. So here's the thing. When we were talking about these cards, I think both of us noticed this combo right away.
Yeah.
But in my head, I kind of, put it in this little box that was like, oh, that's like a fun little janky thing to explore at some point. But I ended up exploring it pretty early on, and I found that, oh wow, that combo is actually really easy to get off. Like you can set that off like really easily. Like it's, in my opinion, it's the green version of Baculus plus Infernal Curse Dragon.
I agree. And it's cheaper, really, because of green's ramp. Brandbor can come down for 4. Granted, that is a lot. And then to get him up to level 2 is 4 more cores. But the green ramp makes it all just so viable. And so you get him out early, and he's able to completely eliminate your opponent's wide board. It's good against green. It's good against yellow. It's just really, really strong in those aggro to mid-range decks, and we saw it happen, and it worked really, really well.
Yeah, I've also done it more than that one time.
Yeah,
like I've managed to do it more than just the one time on video, so it's very doable.
Yeah.
I do think that white can shut it down.
Sure.
Like Axebiter can, infinity block it with suppression or whatever, or they could dream bomb you or whatever.
It's not a problem, but it is fun and it is effective, and I think this could be one of those things that comes out of, if you're a fan of Absolute BSS, maybe you start running these little combos, and you're gonna catch those meta masters off guard a little bit. I just think it's really neat, and I think Lightning Aura, back to that card, works really well in a green Blade Beast deck because of that confront, and obviously it works within its own color, but you can really make an aggressive green with red splash deck using the Brandbor, using some Pterosaurs if you wanted to, but those Blade Beasts especially, They like to destroy a creature to destroy more creatures, and I think confront, being able to put confront in green is really powerful, and I think might be overlooked a little bit towards the beginning of set 2 dropping. So if you're looking for some early tournament budget decks, I think this is a good one to look at. You can get your Brandboar from the decks, and Lightning Aura is a common rarity.
Yep. Yeah, if you just buy a few packs of the new set, you'll probably and like a couple copies of the new deck, which Brandboar might even be a 4 of. I don't know.
We're not sure, because there are a couple of 6-cost cards in that deck, so it might just be.
You could have a really solid build with just a few cards.
Yeah, and Airborne Crag also comes out of that starter deck, so
yes, yep.
You're gonna want it.
Plus, maybe you'll get a couple Emerant-Mans or Worker Ant-Mans along the way. So.
Yeah. It's definitely worth it, and if you need budget, just slot in some Leaf Wolves to make Brandboar a little bigger, and that can also get you over some of the hump of like white, really tall creatures, or yellow angelic pressures and stuff.
That's what I was gonna say. Is if someone does a battle trick, it could potentially shut the combo down. But the cool thing about Brandboar is that, like, one, you might have another Lightning Aura in your hand, so you could pump them by 2k, or you might just have a Swift creature. I recommend running, like, in my build, this is how I'm building it. I'm not going full on into the Swift ability. I'm not a full on Swiftie, but I have slotted like a couple just to have in there as just like a little surprise, and then also just as a pump spell for Brandboar. And they go well with the Airborne Crag as well. So if you're running Airborne Crag anyways, which I kept forgetting that Airborne Crag did that when we played. Yeah. But it pumps your Swift creatures when they come out as well. So
which is good. You can get some really good surprise blocks.
So I guess if
past Brandboar.
I guess if I had to give this to one card, I would actually give it to Lightning Aura. I think Lightning Aura is the card that I would shout out from that combo, because I think Brandboar is really, really good on his own, but I think Lightning Aura just takes him to another level.
I agree. Yeah, it's just so cool. And thematically, it's just this huge blade beast getting struck by lightning and just charging through everything.
It's just rampaging.
Destroying every anthill in sight, in my case.
What's your next thing you want to talk about?
I really wanted to take a look at the Voidlords. And this is the discussion one that I had, because we are getting a little close to time. But
okay, this works because this was one of mine.
Oh, cool.
So we can have this 2 in 1.
let's talk about these Voidlords. We have played a couple of games with our meme deck that we talked about, the King Charles Voidlord, which does work. It did work. We saw it happen. It did work. There's a Dragonaga Diviner that makes that really come together, and it's all very funny. It's a lot of different colors, but seeing 2 Voidlords hit the board was cool. But then what we found is that the Voidlords themselves, which I guess makes sense, rightfully so, they don't have synergy. In fact, a lot of them are anti-synergy. And so I just wanted to hear your thoughts, since you're the one who played with them. What do you think about having multiple Voidlords in the same deck? And then which one is your favorite initially?
Ooh, okay. Those are fantastic questions. So I've actually posted my newest version of this deck into not our Discord, but into the main Battle Spirits Saga Discord. I'll post it in our Discord as well, so people can check it out.
Yeah, I would like to look at it too.
Originally, I had all 4 of them in there: the white, the red, the yellow, and the purple. Mm-hmm. But the white one, you really got to build around the white one. It has all sorts of effects that have to do with like bouncing things, or like getting your cores back, and it really does not fit in a deck where you're trying to do this like meme play. So for those of you that aren't aware, by the way, I guess I'll start off by saying this: the meme here, or like the big joke of the deck, is that you use King Charles, which, let me pull him up really quick. Mm-hmm. King Charles is a 5-cost 3 reduction other lander spirit, and I'm not even going to bother reading the rest of him because
Sure.
all you need to know is that when he's summoned at any level, you reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a spirit card with the same cost as any of your spirits, summon it without paying its cost, otherwise discard it. And so the whole point here is you have one Voidlord out that you got, that you actually paid for and got out, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Naturally, just organically.
Yeah, organically just like played it, and then you play King Charles and you just rip this like bullshit Void Lord off the top of your deck and
For free.
make your opponent for free. Yeah, but the Diviner Dragonaga allows you to look at the top 2 cards of your deck and rearrange them and stuff, so you can actually kind of set this up.
Yes.
So with all that being said, I think that King Charles, if you want to play multiple Void Lords, I think King Charles is, in my opinion, the best way to go. So for that reason, I think you're definitely playing the yellow one. The yellow one actually, as well, also probably has the most synergy with the other Voidlord spirits, because at level 2, it says, at level 2 and 3, while your Voidlord spirits are attacking, they cannot be blocked by spirits with fewer BP than them, which in most cases is going to be everything.
Right. So each Voidlord has the same stat line. At level 1 for 1 core, they have 7,000 BP. At level 2 for 4 cores, they have 10,000. And at level 3 for 6, they have 15,000. So that covers pretty much every card in the game.
Yeah. Even at 1 core, they probably can't be blocked by most things.
Yes.
So yeah, you're going to play the yellow one. The yellow one also gives you luster, but you're not really playing any, in my build anyways, you're not really playing any magic, so that doesn't really matter. Like, you can pump them up to level 3 if you just want the BP. The purple one, I think, combos really well here for another reason, being that you're playing the Diviner Dragonaga, which is purple, so you kind of get, you kind of want to play the ones that you could get some cost reduction with.
Yeah.
Because you do need to play one of these just out of your hand the regular way. At least one. But also when he's summoned, you can select a Void Lord or Undead Spirit in your trash and summon it without paying its cost. So he kind of does some similar things to what you're trying to do with this deck anyways. So, and then he gets Cursed, and then he can also, when he attacks, remove 3 cores from a spirit and place it into your opponent's reserve, which could potentially combo with the yellow Void Lord, because now maybe it doesn't have enough BP to block you, even if you don't kill it. I think this dude having Curse when he has 10k BP is a little bit overkill,
It's
but
just
whatever.
insult to injury, but
Yeah.
I think it's because I'm assuming the lore is that the Void Lords fight each other for supremacy. And so him having Curse means he can kill another Void Lord.
Yeah. I mean, in the art here, he's fighting against the Tokiwa bird. So, like, the Tokiwa bird could, like, block him, but then it would die to the curse.
Right.
So they would, like, both get killed.
Yeah. So thematically,
which actually,
that art is so cool. And I'm going to talk about the bird.
I'm looking at the bird right now. Well, okay, yeah, we'll look at that later.
Yeah, I love the bird.
And then lastly, the red one, the red Void Lord. When he's summoned, you just wipe anything that's puny off of the board. So anything 4,000 or fewer BP destroys them. He has Awaken, which I have never found to be super relevant. I guess if you have like one of your Void Lords pumped up all the way, then you can switch the cores over to be on him later.
Sure.
And then when he destroys one of your opponent's spirits, select one of your opponent's nexuses and destroy it. So that's just some added. It's kind of like the curse on the other dude, like some added utility that may or may not happen, but whatever. So anyways, all that to say, I think that you can, if you want to play with all of them, I think you probably still don't want to play with the white one. I think you could play with red, purple, yellow, but you're probably going to lean heaviest into purple and yellow together because they have the Diviner Dragonaga and King Charles. And also Reanimate, because you want to reanimate King Charles to get more utility out of King Charles. And honestly, if you have a Reanimate in hand, just pull the cores off of King Charles and kill him and then reanimate him.
Yeah.
So,
especially if you know what's sitting on top of your deck. Like, between purple and yellow, it seems like, while you were talking, I was really thinking about how to make this kind of work, and I think it's the loop between purple and just purple and yellow. I think you can make it really work. The reanimate for the King Charles, the self mill that is being introduced in set 2 with some of the purple cards, like you want to see those cards ditch, and then if you bring back one Voidlord, you're going to start bringing back more, and if King Charles brings one in, you can bring in more, and like that's what it seems like to me, is that purple and yellow work well together. Red is an added bonus. White plays by itself.
Yeah, I was experimenting taking out the red, but I think that you do, because you want a bunch of cards that all cost 10 to be in your deck. So that way, like if you drop, the other thing I'm playing in here is the 0 cost spirits, just to get the cost reduction.
Yeah,
that's and a smart also move. If you play them all, then King Charles has more things to like hit when he flips the card over, which, yeah, you get a 0 cost spirit for free, which is like not really that great, but like, hey, it's a free spirit that you didn't have to play from your hand. So
yep, I like them. You know, little ginger blooms, and then the little amethystis all the way up to Void Ogre and Big Angel. You know, like it's just crazy.
You got the tops and the bottoms, and you got like the very top of the cost curve and the very bottom of the cost curve all in the same deck. But anyways, I don't know if any of that rambling answered your question, which was, what's your favorite? My favorite.
I thought all of that rambling was really intelligent, though. I enjoyed hearing your perspective, honestly.
Thank you.
I want to keep messing with it, too. So
I think that deck, it's a meme deck. It's a glass cannon. Sure. You either like lose horribly with it very quickly, or you just do the craziest bullshit anyone has ever seen.
It's Galactus. I think I've said that before. It's like, this is Marvel Snap. If you play Galactus, especially right now, as of July 18th, 2023, the year of our Lord, if you're playing Galactus right now, it's either going to go off really, really well or just not at all.
Yeah,
as it should. Like, that's the whole point with these like really over-the-top cards. But yeah, I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you. Which one of these four is your favorite?
I think the purple. I think Void Ogre, Emperor Avaricia. So the when summoned, you get to bring something back. This has, if you're playing multiple Voidlords, like he can bring more Voidlords back. If you play him early and you can't put too many cores on him, but then he dies, but then you draw another one late game, you can play him and now you have 2.
Yeah. Like that's so powerful.
Yeah, really good. Or if you want to do an undead deck, he kind of could be like your top end on the undead.
Right.
He has Curse, so if you want to play around with Maduke and Blood Curse, that's an option.
Why not?
And then when he attacks, you can just kill stuff or drop it, below a point where it would be able to block him. So I think he is probably the most solid out of the 3. As far as that specific deck I was talking about, I think the Fallen Angel, the yellow one, is probably the key Voidlord, because it can help you get that unblockable, what is essentially unblockable, and it's yellow, so it fits in with most of that deck.
Yep. I also immediately think of, I don't know why I love this card so much, but it's always in my mind. 5 cost, 2 reduction, purple spirit, King Snake, Quetzalcoatl. It's a serpent that says when summoned, select a spirit with curse or blood curse in your trash and return it to your hand. So that is another thing that King Charles could hit that could let you pick up that Voidlord out of your discard pile, if for whatever reason, like if you're in the end game and you have the cores to spend. And that might be more of a mono purple build with that Voidlord specifically, but I think I agree with you that is my favorite. And then you also have Corpse Giant Gigasha, who is immortal for cost 6 or 10. So when your Voidlord dies, this guy comes back out.
Yeah. If I were to go full on yellow purple for the Voidlord meme deck, I might put in that King Snake.
Yeah, I think so.
He's costed the same as King Charles, so King Charles will definitely hit him.
Yep. Yeah, I think there's some really powerful 5 cost purple cards to pair alongside King Charles in that kind of a meme deck. Like Elefog is a 5 cost reduced by 4 Spirit Beast that has Curse at all 3 levels, and so that's kind of fun too.
Yeah, which actually, sorry I've talked so much about this, but
no, you're good.
For this, I know that we said I know that I said that we had like the same thing. King Charles was my pick here because one, there's the Voidlord thing, but to your point, I think there's a lot you can do with King Charles. I think King Charles is just like a very prominent card in the set. Like I don't know that everyone's going to see it right away, but I think King Charles and then the other card that I wanted to mention, or the other cards are Impaler Forest and Reanimate.
Yeah.
Reanimate, I think everyone knows that card is really really good. Everybody's talking about the card, but I think King Charles and Impaler Forest are quite good for like making weird combo situations go off. And I think that people are maybe not going to see their true value until somebody does something amazingly cool with it. And it might be the Voidlord deck. It might be. I don't know.
I think you're onto something with that. I definitely, after this is over, I'm going to build a purple-yellow Voidlord deck, and we can compare some notes, because I haven't looked at yours yet, so I want to see what I can get into there.
Yeah,
that's really fun. Well, my last one. Do we want to? Yeah, just do our last one real quick.
Yeah, sure.
All right, mine. I already said it, but it's Eternal Phoenix Tokuwa. And right off of that piggyback there, like, this is the anti-Voidlord card, and this is the Gundam that is going to fight the other Gundam. And so Eternal Phoenix Tokuwa is a 7-cost green prey bird spirit, can be reduced by 4. Level 1 for 1 core, it has 5,000 BP. Level 2 for 3 cores, it has 8,000. Level 3 for 5, it has 11,000. But at all 3 levels, this spirit gains 10,000 BP if your opponent controls a Voidlord spirit. So that means while it is at level 1, it matches a 6-cored Voidlord in BP on the field. And then as soon as you bump it up to level 2, it covers the Voidlords. And so at level 2 and level 3, it gains when this spirit attacks, your opponent selects one of their refreshed spirits exhausted. So your opponent gets to do that. But then the really cool part, I think, is level 3. So again, when the spirit attacks at level 3, if there's a Voidlord out there, it's at 21k, which I think is the highest we've seen of any card. 21,000 BP at level 3 with 5 cores. When the spirit attacks, you may remove all but 3 cores from this spirit, so you drop it down to 18k if there's a Voidlord. Place them into your reserve, and you refresh the spirit. So it's got that whole Phoenix rising from the ashes kind of thing.
I just realized how freaking cool this card is thematically. Thematically, because of the Voidlord, his effect of removing 3 cores when he attacks.
Yes. And
the Phoenix is basically being like, it's basically just like judoing the Voidlord. Like, I'm just going to use your power against you.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so cool. And again, on the art, on the base art for Eternal Phoenix and the Void Ogre, they are fighting each other. And I just think it's really good world building. It's really good art. And I am always the guy that's like against the meta. And so that's what this card is. Like, if Voidlords do get out of hand, there is a card ready and able to counter them, but then it also just works really well in a green deck. It's got good stat lines, it's not that expensive, and it just looks damn cool. And then when it is the Gundam version, it's Unicorn Gundam, and that's just really cool for me. So I'm very, very excited about this card. I don't know how expensive it's going to be. I don't know how many copies I'm going to be lucky enough to get. Hopefully a couple. Especially that really shiny alt art version. Like, I think this might be my favorite card out of both sets so far. I think this is my favorite card.
Wow.
Just the whole idea of it, down to the art. I love this card.
That's a pretty big claim when we've got Crocodile and
Flame Weasel. I know.
Flame Weasel, Flying Turtle.
Don't let Flying Turtle hear what I just said, but damn, I love it. So that's mine.
Wow. Very cool. Yeah, I think you'll be able to get some of these. Even, like, just the regular art, I imagine won't be too bad, because there's that really, really shiny Saga rare, and then also the Gundam. So,
yep.
personally want one of each if I can manage to make that happen, but
Yeah.
like at least one of each.
Yeah. I
But we'll see.
am very excited about it, though.
All right, my last thing I want to talk about here. This is something that I think is going to be a pretty strong deck archetype that I'm either going to play or I'm going to have to try and figure out how to beat, which is big machine beasts.
I love that you're talking about these.
Because there's some really, really solid machine beasts in the new set. And kind of going back to what we were just talking about, the white Voidlord who doesn't go in the King Charles deck definitely goes in this deck because he is a machine beast. And the reason I'm excited about this is actually that there is a card in set 1, the Fortress Namengard City or something like that. The Fortress Metropolis Namen City. It was a Nexus in set 1 that's 4 cost 2 reduction. At level 1 and 2, during your main step, when you summon a Machine Beast card that costs 6 or more, count the symbol on this Nexus as 3 white symbols. So basically, at the time when this card came out, the only thing it was good for was the elephant, the Namengard. Now you've got quite a few choices.
So
and
you can sort cards on the database by their cost, like equal to or greater than. So if I'm looking at this right, taking out the alt arts, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Machine Beast cards that fit that criteria.
Yeah,
and that's
so you can
amazing.
You can build a whole deck around this. I think that your lower end is just like low cost stuff so that it doesn't clog up your hand, and then you're trying to reduce cost even more. And then on the high end, you just have like, there's this new mammoth Memelord guy who, when you summon him, if you have fewer cards in your hand than your opponent, you draw a card. If you have fewer cores than them, or if you have fewer life than your opponent, you place a core from the void into your life.
Yeah, that all happens at the same time when summoned. That's amazing.
And then he bounces stuff to their hand, which also combos with the Voidlord. When one of your opponent's spirits is returned to their hand, you may pay 2 cores from this spirit to then refresh it. So, yeah, there's a lot of comboing going on here, a lot of bouncing to hand, and then the elk just sitting there, stalling out and getting your opponent. I guess in the first set, yeah, you could play elk, the elephant, or the dinosaur Harrier Turbo Rex, but the dinosaur Harrier Turbo Rex has ascend, cost 3 or more, so you weren't going to play a full play set of those. So really you had, at most maybe like 9 or 10 cards in your deck that could combo with that Namen City, but
right.
now you have a whole bunch of cards to choose from, and I think you can build a whole deck around that, just big machine beasts.
Yeah. And on that note, and I think like moving into set 2, especially for me, it's going to be really nice for you to have a deck like this, because you will probably slot in a couple of the Blizzaster Eagle. So this is a 6 cost white Machine Beast spirit that can be reduced by 5. So again, pairs into that Nexus really well. And it's not the most thrilling stat lines. Level 1 for 1 core, it's 4,000. Level 2 for 3, it is 7,000. But this is the only card I've seen so far, I think, that has armor from green. So at level 1 and 2, this Blizzaster Eagle has armor for purple, green, and yellow. And at level 2, when it blocks, it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's destruction effects during battle. So I just think it's kind of a sticky machine beast and will actually put some pressure on decks that already know how to handle white. I think popping that in there a couple of times is going to be kind of good against green. Like, it can't be affected by the green exhaustion. It can't be affected by purple core removal, and it can't be affected by yellow BP reduction. So it's pretty cool. I think it's a good card.
It's it doesn't have armor red, but it kind of does in a way because at level 1 it's at 4K, so it can't get burning forced, and then
Yep.
at level 2 it's at 7K, so it doesn't die to the volcanic break, it doesn't die to the Dragno King. Like
Right.
it's a pretty solid card.
Yep. And really, the only way to remove it then is to kill it in battle or to bounce it. But because of all those reduction symbols and with that Nauman Fortress, it's just going to come back cheap and just as good. So I would like you keep talking about Machine Beast actually before we end this. Keep going on your.
Oh, I mean that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
I mean
that's your archetype that you're pumped on.
Yeah, I think that I don't know if I'm gonna play it like right away. I whenever a new set comes out, I like to start with all the janky stuff first.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I think that this archetype is probably going to be very powerful. Like really, it's going to be a deck. Like,
Yeah.
I may not be the one who builds the deck list that ends up winning tournaments or whatever, but I'm pretty sure there's a deck list here.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and Derm Dyna slots into this really well.
yeah, he doesn't benefit from the cost reduction because he's not a machine beast, but I could totally see a world where you play Derm Dyna in there just because you are playing the Nexuses, so like that's more unblockable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Big beasts, unblockable, and the Fanatec Elk and the Nauman Guard 2 chump defense is just really mean. And they just look so damn cool. Like the Machine Beasts are so cool. The mecha and the Machine Beasts in this game are just, they're Zoids and Transformers in Gundam. And it's
pretty
awesome.
sick.
It's very sick.
The main decision point I've had when I've been building this deck is, do I lean all the way into the bounce, or do I kind of just let the bounce effects be a like cherry on top kind of thing?
I feel like with bounce, yeah, you either do have to go all in on it, or it's cherry. I think with the speed of the game, I think bounce as a surprise is better than bounce as an archetype. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've kind of been feeling that way too, because I had the Mecha Wing Ducks in there, and I haven't really gotten to play this deck much, so I can't really say for sure. And it might just be my personal play style as well.
Yeah, and that's what I just said is definitely my own personal opinion. I would love to be proven wrong.
Well, I know that there was a build that was like aggro white with the ducks and stuff that did really well for a minute, but it's kind of the same thing with pterosaurs. Like I tried playing pterosaurs because I know it's a really good deck, but it's just not really how I like to play.
Yeah, so, I agree. Even before this, I was kind of like throwing a deck together with like a little variations on that pterosaur, but then it like just kind of all muddles back into that one deck, and I'm like, this isn't for me.
Yeah, like it's the thing is like I can appreciate that it's a really good deck, but it's also like I'm just not going to pilot it well just because like it's not how I play.
For sure. And that's what Absolute BSS is all about.
Yes, absolutely.
Nice. We're tribal fans and we are jank fans and meme fans. This is the place for you.
Well, that's why I was excited about this deck, is because it's like there's a Nexus that people kind of played from the first set, but it was kind of maybe forgotten about a little bit.
Yeah, a little too niche, but now it's coming back.
It's like a Spring of Norn kind of situation.
Hell yeah, it is, dude. Hell yeah, it is, bro. Oh, man. What was I going to say? There was one last thing I was going to say about these.
About the Machine Beasts?
Yeah, about the Machine Beasts. But I am not sure. So I think that's it.
That's all right. I do want to give a quick to Blessed, though. Didn't get to talk about it, but I think Blessed is going to be pretty cool in the next set.
Yep, and we've definitely experimented with Blessed and have talked about it a lot. So if Blessed is something you're interested, let's talk about Blessed in the Discord.
Yeah, come chat in the Discord about Blessed.
Yeah, give me your best Blessed decks. Also, I'm always looking for people to play on TTS with. So if we can build up a little Discord community of cool people that get it, come on in. We'll play. Eric and I play in tabletop all the time. It's very, very fun.
Yeah, it's always like Cam will send me a text like way too late at night, and I should be asleep. And I said no to you last night.
You did. I was proud of you. I was like, I'm going to shoot my shot, and I'm going to feel a little bad if he does say yes, but I've got to try it.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm in bed. Like, I'm already like almost asleep. Like, I really should just commit to sleeping.
Yeah. It's funny. But yeah, well, I think that's going to do it for us. Thank you, as always, for tuning into another episode of Absolute BSS. We're having a lot of fun doing these. Originally, we're like, we probably won't go over an hour, but most of these end up being around 90 minutes. So if you want shorter form episodes, please let us know. But if not, we're just going to kind of keep doing our thing. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, hello. I just winked. That's for YouTube viewers only. And yeah, join us, join our Discord. The links should be in the descriptions, wherever you're hearing this right now. Come say hi. And you can always email us at absolutebsspod@gmail.com. Send us some questions, send us some deck lists. But you can also just do that on the Discord. Like if you're comfortable with that, and we start having some conversations between filming episodes, we'll probably bring them up and talk about them. We just want people to. That's the whole point about card games, right? You want to meet your community. You want to make sure everyone's having as good of a time as possible, so that the more games can be played and more conversations can be had, and the game has a healthy life. And I feel like this game definitely has that potential. So we would love to have you on board.
I think the future is bright for this game. There's been so many things so far that have shown to me, like, I think this game has some legs.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So,
and honestly, even if it doesn't, if it ends someday, we'll probably still be here talking about stuff. So
yeah, that's the fun thing. We can always transition into a different card game, but for now, we are absolutely obsessed with Absolute BSS. So anything else from you, Eric, before we officially sign off here?
I think that's it from me. Cool. Excited to see who joins the Discord. Come say hi.
Yeah. And I would just like to thank you real quick, Eric, for always doing this with me and for taking care of the last episode.
Of course.
Yeah, I love this, man. This is very, very fun. I'm feeling all in my feelings right now, and I'm very excited to build a Machine Beast deck and a Voidlord deck and a Phoenix deck and Ant decks and Gundam decks and Mecha decks and Bless decks. All right, we got to go, or I could talk about this game for way too long. So we'll catch you next time on Absolute BSS. I'm Cameron.
And I'm Eric.
Have a good one, y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye.